So you're very welcome to our inaugural online class. We know everybody still needs to move in these uncertain times. We are still open currently in the studio, but obviously if you're not able to come to class, we want to be able to facilitate that as well. So the lovely ladies Cait and Therese are with us, and they're going to be working through a short workout sequence that you can be doing yourselves at home. Obviously, as you are watching this, most of you or all of you will have worked with us before, so do remember the cues that we have given you that keeps your own body safe as we go through this. This will be a fundamental level, but obviously if you have any bone density or disc issues, certain things will be contraindicated, so please mind your own bodies as we do this. Okay, so we begin nice and tall, centering your body, feeling that your weight is equally balanced across your left foot as well as your right foot. Fill your body with air, take a nice deep breath in through your nose. And then as you exhale, just find your center for me. So we have that sense of your powerhouse gently engaging. Let's do that again, a nice buoyant rib cage over that pelvis. Inhaling and then exhaling, just knitting it together. On our next exhale, we're going to begin our roll down, breathing in through the nose. And then as you exhale, nodding your chin slowly towards the chest and slowly, sequentially peeling yourself forward and down, working through that entire spine. As you bring your arms forward, palms face in towards each other, neck is nice and long, and try to maintain the weight equal over the feet as we come down. Pause at the bottom, fill your body with breath, find that an engagement of your hamstrings and your legs as you start to roll yourself back up again. Articulating through the spine, just warming it up, bringing yourself all the way back up and into a vertical position. We're going to do that twice more in your own time. So once your head is stacked back up, again, inhale, and then a little faster this time, exhale, roll yourself forward and down. Try to distribute the load, making sure you're not just going into the bits that are already flexible. If you have tight hamstrings or a tight lower back, bend your knees a little bit. You could also do this standing against the wall for support if you need it. Breathe in. As you exhale, roll yourself up vertebrae by vertebrae, bringing yourself up. Connecting with the floor, all of those spinal extensors, and then the shoulders arriving on top of the rib cage at the top. We're going to add a little bit more and we're going to come to the mat. Breathe in. As you exhale, nod your chin, peel yourselves forward and down nice and slowly. Good, good. Round through the spine. And when you're flexed forward this time, bend your knees enough so you can get your hands flat on the mat. Tuck your chin in so you're looking back towards those thighs for me. Breathe in. And as you exhale, send your sit bones up and back behind you. By sense, you might feel a little bit of stretch on the back of your thighs, but that's not the goal. So inhale, bend your knees. And instead think of your sit bones going up and back rather than it just being a leg straightening. Let's go for one more time. Inhale, bend your knees. And as you exhale, extend those legs up. And then from there, we reconnect into those abdominals. We're going to walk the hands out, 1, 2, 3, and out into a nice plank position. Hold briefly for a moment, and then bend one knee in, bend the second knee in, and then just making sure that your hips are directly over your knees and your hands are directly in under your shoulders, making any adjustments you need to. Think of a little split in the middle of your mat and press your hands apart to help you connect into that shoulder girdle. Make sure your neck is in line with your spine, so no droopy heads, please. And then from there, we're going to just work on moving your lumbar spine, your lower back. Curl your tail under just a little bit. Good. Making sure your hips are over your knees. So shift your hips back a little bit there for me, Therese. Just a little bit back further, even more, even more. Good. And then send your tailbone out and behind you again. So waking up that lower back, mobilizing it and engaging through the pelvic floor and abs a little bit. Good. And then send your tail back out behind you. Now allow that movement to traverse the whole way through the spine. Curl the tail to your nose. Let it move your lower back, your middle back, your upper back, and allow your head to look towards your thighs. So let the heads drop there, ladies, just a little bit. Fill your body with breath there, inhale. And then as you exhale, extend tailbone out. Mobilize from the tail all the way out to the base of the skull, remembering that spine goes up to the base of the skull, ears lengthening out, eye line up a little bit so you're looking towards the front of the mat. Now we're going to do that again one last time. Breathe in. As you exhale, curl the tail under, arching the spine, rounding through, making sure the whole time that your hips stay directly above the knees. So we want the lower back to move rather than a forward or backward movement on the mat. Breathe in, and as you exhale, extend it all the way back out again. So next, once we've found that neutral spine, we're going to do a little bit of pelvic rocking. Most of you know our cue. Think of a headlight, one on each bum cheek, and you're in full beam, everything stretched out behind you. Now keep full beam and sit halfway back towards your heels for me. Keep your bum stuck out, no curling under. We keep our neutral spine. Now engage your arm lines, pull through your hands and bring yourself back over your wrists. On an inhale, we sit back towards the heels again, please. On an exhale, pull yourself forward, back over your wrists. So we're getting that connection, that control through our center and the work in our arms, sitting back towards the heels. And then exhale, keep that shape, bring it back towards the center, full beam. Let's go one more time for that sequence. So sitting back towards the heels, keep the length through the entire spine, and then bringing it back and over your wrists. Now from there, we add our cat stretch. So you're going to round your spine first of all, from your tail to your head, and allow that head to follow the line of your spine. Take that shape, sit it back towards your heels. And when you're back there, again, come back to full beam, articulate your spine from your tail to the tips of your ears, and then we keep your flat back as we come forward. So we're going to round your spine in 4-point kneeling. You keep the rounded spine, you sit back towards your heels. When you're back towards your heels, you flatten out into a flat back position. Engage those arm lines, nice ladies, and bring it back and over your shoulders. One last time. Flat back, sit back. Curl your tail under, let your head drop, take that shape, bring it forward, and then from there, send your tail back out behind you and over your wrists. Now from here, we're going to sit back towards the heels and swing your legs in front of you, sit towards the front of your mat, and have your feet flat down, plenty of space behind you to allow you to be able to roll back to the floor. Sit up nice and tall on top of your sit bones, breathe in. And as you exhale, curl your tail under, articulate down through your spine. Now go slowly here, try not to use too much momentum. Get the lower back to sink into the floor, allow the arms to straighten, and then just go nice and slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, all the way down. And let's let your head come back to rest on the floor. Let your arms settle on the mat behind you. Slide one leg in towards your bum a little more, and then the second leg in. So we're going to go into our pelvic curl from here. Breathe in through the nose. We begin with that little pelvic tilt, tuck your toes or pull your pubic bone towards your nose, and then just rolling up. Find first of all the base of your ribs for me. Find a little bit more of a posterior tilt, and then roll up towards the base of the shoulders. Finding the connection on our front line and the back line of the body. Breathe in, and as you exhale, soften all the way down, vertebrae by vertebrae. So listening to your body today, making sure your breath is flowing, and making sure that's consistent the whole way through the movement. So again, breathing in. As you exhale, curl your tail towards your nose, rolling up through the spine, finding your breath. Especially if there's any anxiety or anything in your day, it's really good to focus on your breath as you move. Breathe in fully at the top. As you exhale, find the flow of that breath to support you on the way down, and release everything slowly back to the floor. Let's do that twice more. Breathe in through the nose. And as you exhale, slowly start to pick yourself up, vertebrae by vertebrae, bringing yourself into that nice long position. Hold at the top, breathe in. And as you exhale, soften slowly back to the floor and all the way back to the mat. Let's go one last time, breathe in. And as you exhale, curling up. And this time I'd like you to hold it when we get to the top. Find a little bit more curling under of that pelvis if that's available for you today. Great. And then from there, curl under just a little teeny bit more. Now maintain that height and raise one heel. So the toes stay down, the heel lifts, and then lower that heel down. Opposite side, try not to sink or drop the hips on either side. Lower the heel down. So starting to feel a little bit more connection to the back of those hamstrings, into the glutes as well. Raise a heel and lower a heel. Let's do once more each side. Raise a heel, lower a heel. Last time, raise a heel, lower a heel, and then from here, soften each vertebrae down to the floor all the way through. Finding that breath and keeping it flowing. And if you need to take more than one breath as you're coming down, do. Just make sure you've got that sense that you're not holding your breath. Float your arms in the air with your palms facing in towards each other. On your inhale, reach your fingertips up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, let your shoulder blades sink back into the floor and your arm bones be heavy. Now from here, we're going to open your arms out to a T to the sides, feeling how heavy that rib cage can be on the floor behind you. From here, we're going to do single leg raise. Breathe in. As you exhale, float one of your legs to your tabletop, please. Knee comes up over hip. And then we're going to tap the foot down on your inhale. And then on an exhale, pick it back up. So you're checking in as we're doing this motion that your back feels connected to the floor, your breath is flowing, the rib cage, you're heavy and weighted into the mat. And exhale, pick it up. Let's do one more this side, tap down, and then exhale, pick it back up. And then just lower the foot so it's in line with the other foot, and we would change to the opposite side. Breathe into your prepare. As you exhale, float your leg to your tabletop position. Sink the ribs into the floor on your inhale, tap it away. On an exhale, pick it back up. Now remember, sometimes you don't need to bring your foot all the way to the floor here. If your back feels like it's arching or you're losing that connection to that core area, make sure that you're limiting your range to where you keep your stability. Twice more, tap down and pick it back up. And last time, tap down and then pick it up. And then if it's available for you, we're going to work a little bit on leg changes. Raise the heel of the opposite foot. Notice that slight increase in that abdominal awareness. We're not bracing, but we're feeling that we're controlled. Now on your exhale, you change the position of the legs in one movement. One goes down, the other comes up. And then we change. Use your breath, exhale to change. And we exhale to change. And we exhale to change. Now sink the ribs, find that connection, that control. And our goal here is that pelvic stability against the movement of your legs. Twice more, tap, and then down. Now lift that second leg up to join the first leg and press your legs together. Try to have your shins parallel to the ceiling for me. And then we come into spine twist supine. We're going to lift the hip that's closest to the camera, and you're going to move your knees and feet to the opposite side. The shoulder on both sides stays down on the floor. Use your exhale to bring that shape back to center. On your inhale, go the opposite way. So one hip lifts as the knees and feet go across, remembering to initiate the movement by the lift of the hip rather than just the movement of the legs. Exhale to center. Inhale, allow the knees to float across. Exhale, use that to help you twist, let your rib cage sink into the floor. Again, inhale, over we go. Exhale, bring it back to center, and then we're going to add a little bit more challenge. Again, do what's good for your body today. Float both arms in the air, palms face in, shoulder blades are heavy, and the arms bones are heavy down on the floor beside you as well. Now we add that little bit of extra challenge, less balance because we're not using our arms. Inhale, let the legs float across by lifting the hip up. Exhale, back to center. Just enjoying that extra challenge as we go. On an inhale, let the knees float across. Can we keep that opposite shoulder heavy? Exhale, pull, bring it to center. Good. Again, inhale, move it across. And exhale, pull, bring it back to center. And then let's go one more time. Inhale, over. Exhale, back to center. And then lower one leg down. Lower the second leg. Make sure the feet are hip distance. Heels are nice and heavy. And then we're going to bring the hands, interlace the fingers deeply and bring them in behind the back of the head. Now hook your thumbs under the base of your skull and lift your elbows so you can see them in your peripheral vision for me. So they're not kind of flopping down on the floor. Breathe in, prepare for your movement. As we exhale, we lift the head and shoulders off the mat. Let your lower back sink into the floor. Keep a neutral pelvis. Breathe in at the top. And exhale, articulate your spine back down. Keep the shape of your arms. Again, breathe in through the nose. As we exhale, we're lifting our upper bodies up. Allow that lower back to sink into the floor. And we want to make sure we're coming high enough that you're using your abdominals and not just your neck. So ladies, let's lift a little exhale, a little higher for me. There we go. Good. Inhale and exhale, lay it back down. And all the way to the mat. Lovely job. Let's go again. Breathe in. And then as we exhale, we lift up. We have the connection of the arms that helps us wrap into those abdominal muscles. Inhale through your nose at the top. And exhale, lay it down. Let your head be heavy. Of course, our head is resting on our hands here. Let's go and we'll add a little bit more. Breathing in. Exhale, lift your head and shoulders, lower back sinks in. Now we're going to maintain that height. We're going to get those Pilates furnaces burning. On your exhale, curl your pubic bone towards your nose for me. And then on an inhale, roll your pelvis away and lift your upper body a little bit higher. On an exhale, curl the pubic bone towards the nose. On an inhale, roll it away, lift a little higher. We're going to do 3 more. It's been cold in the studio this morning because we've had all of the windows open. So this is really helping to warm our girls up. Good. And then lift a little higher on your inhale. Come a little higher. Good. And then exhale last time. Curl the pubic bone towards the nose. Inhale. Let it roll back. Now hold and maintain. On our exhale, we rotate our upper bodies towards the opposite leg. Let's move away from the camera as we do this. Can you keep that opposite shoulder blade off the floor? Inhale, bring it back to center. Lovely open elbows. Exhale, take your eye line to the outside of that thigh. And inhale, bring it to center. This move does not need to be big to feel the burn. Exhale, over. Inhale, back to center. And if you know this move from the studio, you know it's hard exercise. And then inhale to center. So always coming back to those fundamentals. Once more each side. Exhale, over we go. Inhale, bring it to center last time. Exhale, over we go. Inhale, bring it back to center, pause, and then let's let the ladies have a nice rest down through the spine, all the way to the mat. Good, and resting it out. Take the arms down by the sides. We feeling a bit warmer, girls? Yes. Excellent, good. So let's do a little next on our side lift. So let's take the arm that's closest to the camera, reach it out overhead. Send your legs down the mat, and we're going to roll on our sides to face towards the cameras. So we're making a little biceps pillow with that bottom arm. Legs are lengthening down the mat. Remember, maybe have them a little bit in front of your body. Generally a good idea to help us with that abdominal connection. Palm can rest on the floor just in front of you, but make sure we're not rounding the shoulders too much. I like to think here of my top leg being a little longer than my bottom leg initially to help get that connection into the waist muscles. So breathe in through the nose, please. As you exhale, just hover your legs a couple of centimeters off the floor, or inches if that's the way you're inclined. All right, take a breath in. Now as we exhale, we're going to lift both of those legs higher, allowing the lower waist to sink into the floor. On an inhale, lower back to your hover for me, please. You have the choice of resting between each one, but we want to try and increase endurance. So if you're okay with it, try and maintain the hover if you can. Inhale, bring it back just to hover off the mat. Again, exhale, try and straighten that bottom wrist from caught if you can, just a little bit. Stretch it towards reception, good. And then slowly back to your hover. On an exhale, lifting, and an inhale, lowering down. And for making sure at home that you feel that you're really using your waist and the side glute here, not your lower back. If you feel anything lower back wise, bring your legs just that little bit in front of you if you need to. We're going to do 2 more here. I think that's 6. Exhale, lift it up. Good. And then slowly back to your hover, please. And one more time. Exhale, lifting. Good. And then lower it back to your hover. And then resting all the way to the floor. Let's bend your knees up in front of you. And then from here, you're going to take your hand and place it under your head. And we're just going to do a little bit of book opening or side-lying spinal rotation, yeah? So you can have your hand under your head, or like Therese has, you could have it out in front of you, whatever's good, and your bottom arm is going to rest on top of that. If you prefer, you could have a pad in under your head here if you're resting. We're not using props currently in the studio though, so we'll just work as we are. Take that inhale to bring your top arm up to the ceiling. Line that arm up with the shoulder joint so it's not behind you. And then on your exhale, you're going to turn your upper body, rotating the chest. The knees stay connected and on the mat. Inhale, hold there. And exhale, bring it back around. So we're using your trunk, your torso to move your arm on this one. Inhale, take the top arm up. Checking in that you can see it in your peripheral vision. And then on your exhale, you rotate. So you're really thinking of the twist, allowing your breath to help you with that. Inhale, fill your body with air there, and exhale, bring it back and together for me. Let's go one more. Inhale, top arm up to the ceiling. Exhale to rotate. Really good to get that thoracic spine moving. So if you're having to sit a little bit more than usual just because of current restrictions, it means that you're just getting that little bit of extra juiciness into that upper back. And then slowly bring it all the way back around and bring the palms back together. Okay, stretch both legs down the mat. And then we're going to take both arms up by the ears, and then we're just going to have a fun roly-poly over to the other side. So roll yourselves over. If you have space before, mind the cat or whatever's around you, or the coffee table. And then just lining yourself up. Have that bottom arm nice and straight, your palm facing the ceiling. And remembering, even lying on your side, you want that control in your shoulder so you're not all bunched up around your ears. Let that sense of your shoulder melting down happen. Excellent. Top leg feeling a little bit longer than the bottom leg. Excellent. Breathe in. And then as you exhale, we're going to hover both legs just a tiny bit off the mat. Inhale, hold. Now, as we exhale, we lift the legs a little higher. And then inhale back to your hover for 1. Always a really interesting exercise because we can be very different on both sides. We are asymmetric beings. We expect to be symmetrical, but most of the time we are not. So just noticing how this side compares to the other for you today. Exhale to lift. Inhale to your hover. Again, exhale to lift. Find that waist. And inhale to your hover. Let's go for 2 more to make it a 6. Exhale to lift. Hopefully my counting skills are up to scratch for once. And down. Lovely. And then one more time. Exhale, lifting. And then lowering the legs down. And then from there, we're going to bend your knees up, make a little support for your head. You could use your cushion or whatever you have at home if you need it. Stack your arms one on top of the other. Of course, letting your shoulders melt away from your ears. On an inhale, bring that top arm up to the ceiling. On an exhale, rotate your spine. Allow your arm to come in line with it as you go. Inhale, hold there. And then exhale, bring it back around. Remember, your goal here is not to get your arm on the floor. It's to turn that rib cage. So checking in that you're not just pushing too far through that shoulder joint. And then rotate the spine, open the chest. Good, not too far. That's it, girls. Take a breath in. And then exhale, bring it all the way back around. One more. Let's go 2 more, actually. Inhale, bring it up to the ceiling. And then exhale to rotate it around, opening through that chest. Good. Inhale back up to the ceiling. And exhale, pull, bring it through. And let's go 1 final time. Inhale, top arm up. Exhale to turn and rotate. Follow the line. Take a moment there just to really feel your inhale moving your rib cage. And exhale, bring it right the way back around. Bring your palms all the way back together. Nice job. And then from there, we're going to lay back down on our backs and we're going to do our 100. Stretch your legs down the mat away from you. Good. Actually, we're going to do roll up before 100. I should qualify that. All right. So the legs are together if possible. And remembering, if this is not a good exercise for your spine, please don't do it. Palms are going to face in towards the body. And then we're going to lift the arms up to the ceiling. We bring them back behind the head. And you're letting your rib cage be heavy. All right, now from there, make sure your arms have a quick eyeball at them. Make sure they're level on both sides. Good. And your elbows as straight as possible. So don't lose that connection to the shoulders just for range. Inhale, lift your head and shoulders off the mat. Bring your hands down by your pockets. On your exhale, curling yourself up, sinking that lower back into the floor. Good. We're going to lift up. Find that control. Lift up out of your rib cage and reach the arms forward. And then taking your time, start to roll your pelvis in underneath you. No momentum, please. Sink your lower back, let your rib cage come down, and then reach the arms back up and overhead with control through those ribs. We're just going to do 1 more like that. Breathe in, lift your head and shoulders, hands come by your hips. On your exhale, you're going to curl yourself up. Lifting, lifting, lifting. Find that line with your arms, the shoulders plugged in. Good. And then from there, we're going to roll ourselves back down to the mat. Nice and controlled. Make sure you're breathing. You could also sing as you're doing this just to make sure that you're breathing, but I'm not going to make the girls do that today. Take the arms up and over. Now from here, circle them around and down and by the sides. Plant them on the floor beside you, and we're going to do 1 leg circle next, or leg circles next. Float your leg that's closest to the camera, girls, into your tabletop position. And then modifications here, you could work with a bent leg if you needed to, but ideally we want to get the legs straight. So stretch the legs up to the ceiling. Now flex through that ankle. Good. And really working into that supporting leg on the floor. Push that leg into the mat. Now from here, we're going to keep them small today. Bring your leg across your body and then around and back up. Keep the focus on the pelvic stability, but making sure you're getting up. So we get that hip extend or hip flexor. And again, across the body and up. Try and take a full breath for each movement, and up. Good. And up. One more breath cycle, and up. And the last time, and then bring it back up. Now pause, we reverse direction, keep them small. Out and down, and up 1. And out and down, and 2. And out and down, and 3. And out and down, 4. 2 more. Good, look at me counting. 5. And 1 more, 6. Bring it back to center. Hold at the top. Now you can hold the back of your thigh here if you prefer. Maybe if you could show that, Therese. And Cait, if you want to stay there, that's fine. And then you're just going to flex and point your ankle a couple of times, just loosening up the back of the leg there. Good, if that feels too much, obviously don't do it. And then just add circles with the ankle and the foot as well, and then reverse direction. Nice. And then from there, stretch that leg out and reach it all the way down to the floor, maintaining your centered position. And then from there, we're going to lift that other leg up to the ceiling. Flex your ankle, so you're going to reach through the heels, try and keep those toes nice and soft, and then press the other leg into the floor to help that stability. So we go across the body on an inhale, and around and up 1, and around and up on your exhale 2, and make it 3, around and up, and 4, around and up, and 5, around and up. Last time, 6, bring it around and up, pause the top, reverse and unwind, down, around and up 1, and 2, and around and up 3, and 4, and 5. Last time, 6, bring it back to center, pause, hold the back of the thigh if you prefer, point and flex the ankle a few times, loosening up that tissue in the calf, all the way up the back of the leg. Some people will feel this higher up in the hamstrings. And then add some circles. And then go the opposite way. And then from there, reach out of that leg, slowly lower the leg to the floor, reach it all the way away. From there, we're going to take the arms up and overhead, find the control to the rib cage. We're going to roll up to a seated position. Inhale, lift your head and shoulders. On your exhale, engage and roll ourselves up all the way into a seated position, and then rebuild and restack the spine right the way back up. Separate your feet for me, ladies. If it's available, flex your ankles. At home, if you need to sit up on something, please do. So bring your upper body a little bit more, maybe bend your knees a bit for me, Cait, as well. Lovely. And we're going to do spine stretch forward. Okay, so as vertical as you can manage. Imagine a wall behind you helping you sit up out of those hip flexors. Breathe in, prepare. And then as you exhale, nod your chin, slowly peel forward and down. Now imagine there's a little picket fence in under your belly there. You're trying to pull away from, even though we're still reaching forward. And then rebuild and restack the spine back up and right the way into your seated position. Again, breathe in. As you exhale, nod your chin, peel forward and down. So we've got this kind of two-way stretch going on. You're trying to, even if you can't reach your feet, you're even thinking about reaching past them. Breathe in, hold. Exhale, slowly roll it back up again. Right the way to your vertical position. Imagine that wall behind you that you're stacking against. Let's go one more, we'll add a bit. Breathe in. Exhale, nod your chin, peel forward and down. Now this time allow your hands to rest on your shins or your ankles, whatever is available for you. And on your inhale, I want you to start to lift your eye line and lift your breastbone forward. So we come into quite an extended position, really trying to lengthen that spine. And then from there, we're going to bring your arms up by the ears. Good, and then you're going to lower those arms down. So we're just loading the muscles on the back of the body. If that doesn't feel good, you can just work on your stretch with your arms resting down on your thighs. Lower the arms down. We've got one more. Lift the arms up and then lower the arms down. Good, hover them off the legs if they're on the legs, and then roll your body up one vertebrae at a time, all the way through into the start position. And then we're going to do spine twist next. So take your arms out to the sides. Let's turn our palms up to face the ceiling. Bring the legs together. Bend the knees a little bit if you need to. And a quick check that our arms are in line. They're not behind us. And our ribs are stacked nice and buoyant over our pelvises. Let's go towards, away from the camera to start. Breathe in. Exhale, rotate the spine 1. Go a little further 2, and inhale, bring it to center. Exhale, rotate 1. Go a little further 2. Inhale to center. And imagine you've got the 2 most perfect cups of coffee balanced on those hands in your mother's best bone china that you're trying not to drop, okay? So we keep that alignment, keeping that sense that the palms are facing upwards, helping us connect and open those collarbones. And inhale to center. Let's go once more. Exhale, rotate 1 and forward 2. Bring it back and into center, and then just turning your palms forward and then letting the arms rest all the way down by the sides. Scoot forward a little bit on your mat, and let's have a little bit of fun. We've been quite serious the whole way through, a little bit on rolling like a ball. Okay, so take your hands in behind the modification, if anybody needs it, is the hands behind the thighs. The girls will show here, actually, Cait, if you'd like to do it with the hands behind the thighs. Therese is showing the full version with the hands on the shins. The goal is to keep your feet as close to your shins as possible. Lift your feet off the floor for me for a moment. Good, and then just roll a tiny bit off your sit bones, finding that depth of your connection. And then from here, we're going to inhale, roll back. And on an exhale, bring it back up. Good. Try not to wobble when you're at the top. And again, inhale, roll it back. Good. Exhale, bring it up. Lovely. If you notice your feet are kicking out, then that's when you're going to grab your ankles. So again, rolling back, pulling the heels into the bum, yeah. And then exhale, pull and bring it up. And again, inhale, roll it back. Good, and exhale, bring it up. So a nice massage for that lower back. Let's go for one more time. Inhale, roll it back. Exhale, bring it back up again, and then lower the feet back to the floor. All right, from there, stretch the arms out in front, breathe in. As we exhale, we're going to roll down to the mat again, all the way through, vertebrae by vertebrae. Nice job. And then from there, arms are going to come up and overhead, and then lengthen the legs down the mat for me. And then we're going to roly-poly over onto our fronts. Okay, so roll yourselves across, lie yourself down, and take your hands down by your hips for me for our basic back extension. Okay, so the legs are together as much as possible. However, if your lower back feels a little tight, you separate them slightly, but we do want your inner thighs slightly active, okay? Turn your palms in to face the body here as the girls are demonstrating, and just make sure your little finger is beside your ring finger. Open the collarbones, fingertips reach down the thighs, and then let's just find that good pelvic position. Imagine a little string on your tailbones being pulled towards your heels. So by sense, we feel the pubic bone a little heavier on the mat. And then from there, you're just going to lift your nose away from the floor, getting your neck in line with your spine, and then you're going to lift up towards the base of the ribs. Do that on your inhale to lift up. And then as we exhale, we lower forward, let the nose come down to the mat. If you want more challenge, keep your hands resting against your legs. Again, inhale, open the collarbones, reach the fingers, not too much height, just to the base of the ribs. Hold and slowly lay it back down again. Good, let's go for 2 more. Inhale, open the breastbone and chest, reach the fingers, hold at the top, and then slowly lay it down. Good, and the last time, and if you can, keep those arms nice and long and straight. Do, slowly floating it up. Can you reach a little further down those legs, really getting that connection to triceps? Breath in, and then as we exhale, slowly rest it down and release. From here, let's take our hands in under the shoulders, push back into your rest position for me. So bum back towards the heels, if that's okay for your body, or you could lie on your back and draw your knees in towards your chest. Breathe in through the nose. And then as you exhale, just come over onto more all fours for a moment. You're going to lift your feet, curl your toes under. Yeah. Nice job. And then from there, make sure the neck is in line with the spine. We're in full beam as usual, neck supported. Take a breath in. As you exhale, hover your knees off the floor. Now from there, I want you to push into those arm lines and send your bum up and back into your inverted V. Now adjust as you need to here. If your hands or legs are too close, you can adjust as you need to. So move away if you need to a little bit. Great. And then I want you just to work a little bit into moving your ankles and feet there. So you're just waking up the legs a little, so bend the knees into just kind of a little walking movement, loosen that out a little tiny bit. Good stuff. And then from there, walking your feet to your hands or your hands to your feet, whatever's better for you. Folding forward. Try not to hang, just find you have a connection. Breathe in through the nose. And then as you exhale, lifting up through the abs, slowly rolling up through the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae, stacking the shoulders back up and on top. Breathe in. And then last time, exhale, roll down to your spine, vertebrae by vertebrae. Checking in with your body, how it feels after a little bit of movement, rounding through the spine. Inhale, hold. And then as you exhale, roll up through the spine. All the way through, stack it all up. Lovely. Lovely work, ladies. Thank you very much. Okay, and hopefully we'll see you in the studio soon. We'll keep adding some videos over the coming days, and most of all, be well, be safe, and look after each other. See you soon. Bye.